We've got someone turning around in the driveway. Oh my. Good afternoon. So today we have a etiquette story, and we're gonna take it. We're gonna take it as far as we can. We can here on the podcast. So let me get into it with you right now. Miss Manners, this is. I don't know who Miss Manners is, but it says, "Is it rude for neighbors to use my driveway to turn around in? I was taught to find another way to turn my car around when necessary. Two of my neighbors think nothing of pulling well into my short little driveway to maneuver their vehicle. One has a pickup truck and pulls into my driveway halfway up or more in order to more easily back the truck into their own driveway across the street." I can understand that. I can understand that. "One day I was standing in my driveway talking on my phone while I awaited a delivery. Suddenly I noticed the neighbor stopped in the road, waving me to move out of my own driveway so she could turn around in it. I am offended by their behavior, and I even find it somewhat threatening to the peaceful enjoyment of my tiny home. But do I need to let it go? What does Miss Manners suggest?" So this woman, people turn around in her driveway every once in a while. She's got two. Woman sitting out there on the phone in her own driveway. And the neighbor who uses her driveway tells her to get out of the way so she can turn around her car. Now, where I live in a subdivision, I would think that would be frowned upon. You would literally just go to the next driveway and turn around there because someone's occupying their own driveway. What does Miss Manners think? If every action were either absolutely right or absolutely wrong, Miss Manners would be replaced by a traffic officer. Whatever the law may say, etiquette recognizes that sometimes it may be necessary, at least convenient, to use a small part of the driveway to maneuver. But this does not excuse the driver for acknowledging the imposition and courtesy extended. Now, I agree with that. If the owner is present, a driver can ask permission. If not, she should minimize the intrusion by being slow enough not to frighten the dog, but fast enough not to constitute an extended stay. So, I don't know. I don't know if I would ask to move into someone else's driveway. If I saw someone in their front yard, I would definitely not. So I have some thoughts. I kind of wanted to go over them with you. I look at someone's driveway as their own. It's not mine. I feel uncomfortable turning around in someone's driveway, and I do what I can to avoid it. I do confess that I've done it on some occasion. So I normally just try to, like, if it's a street, I try to just go around. I mean, I'm in my car a lot, and I'm in a lot of neighborhoods that I'm not familiar with. So I don't typically pull into someone else's driveway, especially like at night with your headlights shining in their house. This is not something I would do. And I do think that there's this understanding of reciprocity. That is, if I'm going to use your driveway to turn around in it, it would be more than appropriate for you to use mine if the situation would arise. You know, I think that's reasonable. Now, my kids used to ride their bikes on the driveway of a house down the street, and it drove me nuts. It's like, it's not your driveway to be driving on. Wife didn't think it was that big of an issue, but it bugged me. I went to research this topic a little more, and a question came up online was, what about when you park on someone's driveway as a friend? So let's just say, like, you've invited me over to your house and the driveway's empty. Can I park on the driveway when I come over? Now, I would think that's okay. But what do you think? Put a comment in the comment section below. As a real estate agent, where do I park? Well, I never park on the driveway unless it's a busy street and I can't park anywhere else. So like, say it's a 40-mile-an-hour street and like I got to get over real quick and the driveway is the only place I got to go. That's where I park. I typically will not in a subdivision park in the driveway. The only exception, there was one time where I was in a subdivision and my car battery was dying, and I knew I wasn't gonna be able to restart my car if I turned it off. So then I parked it in the driveway close to the house and left the car running while I did the showing. I wanted you to see this. I wanted you to see this though. This is an issue. So let me just show you here. Can I put spike strips in my driveway? Someone has actually written in a blog that asking if you can put spike strips. So I was wondering what you thought of this. It says, do you have a neighbor that constantly uses your driveway? Perhaps you see people using your driveway as their favorite U-turn spot. I've had this happen to me on multiple occasions, and I've often wondered, can I put spike strips in my driveway? The answer might just surprise you. It says, putting spike strips in your driveway is perfectly legal depending on which state you live in. You should research the laws in your area to avoid legal trouble. Better solutions exist that will help you limit your liability and risk being sued for damages. It says you're probably reading this because you're running out of options on how to keep people away from your driveway. If using spike strips is the first thing you want to do, you might want to reconsider, look at better options. Do you think? If your neighbor is doing this all the time, it's generally best to talk to them first before laying spike strips in your driveway. Your neighbor may not realize this is an issue for you. Your next door neighbors may not be the only people who use your driveway, though guests and other people passing by might find your driveway a very convenient spot for themselves. So we have a mailman. We have a mailman that uses the driveway to turn around. And there's been people in the neighborhood that have criticized the mailman for using the driveway to turn around his mail vehicle. I've told the guy, if he wants to turn around on my driveway, I don't care. I don't care. It's just not on the list of things that are going to be that important to me. I respect other people's opinions. If that's the case for you, installing barriers may be the best options. There are different ways to block access to your driveway, including putting up hedges, installing fences, and placing flower pots. If none of the mentioned options work for you, you can always go the legal route and call the police on them. Before making the call, make sure you have hard evidence to back up your claim, such as photos and videos. Another option is to hire a lawyer and have him or her give out cease and desist letter, informing offenders that you will take things further and sue them for trespassing if they won't stop using your driveway. I don't know. I'm not going to put driveway spikes on my yard, on my driveway. I think that's a bit excessive. I'm not going to read any more of the article. Confusing. Why would you, as a real estate agent, if I'm showing houses and we get to a house that's at the end of the street and it's a dead end, I would probably tell my buyer, hey, people are probably going to pull in your driveway all the time. I can think of one spot in Afton right now where if I get to that street, there's literally no place to turn around other than a driveway. And I don't feel comfortable about pulling in the driveway, but I'm not going to back out for a mile just because I don't want to use someone's driveway. Very interesting topic, though. I wouldn't want to put out spike strips. I think that's one. I don't think I would call the police. I don't think I would have my lawyer send a cease and desist letter. But I'm in a subdivision and I'm in the Midwest. I've seen that in places like Boston, people pay thousands of dollars for a parking spot. But that's parking. It's not really turning around. I don't know. What do you think? What do you think? I think in the original story, it was wrong for the driver to motion the owner of the house on her driveway to get out of the way so she could back up. I think that's a bit much. Anyway, that's what I have for you today. Podcast is doing really well. I do live stream most every day at 9 a.m. If you have time, come on over. It's kind of fun. We talk about all sorts of real estate stuff. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I'll catch you on the next one.